Article 4 Credits versus Contracts. A credit by its nature is a separate transaction from the sale or other contract on which it may be based. Banks are in no way concerned with or bound by such contract, even if any reference whatsoever to it is included in the credit. Consequently, the undertaking of a bank to honor, to negotiate or fill any other obligation under the credit is not subject to claims or defenses by the applicant resulting from its relationships with the issuing bank or the beneficiary. A beneficiary can in no case avail itself of the contractual relationships existing between banks or between the applicant and the issuing bank. B. An issuing bank would discourage any attempt by the applicant to include, as an integral part of the credit, copies of the underlying contract, pro forma invoice, and the like. Article 4 of UCP 600 is about the principle of autonomy of a documentary credit. It states that a credit is a separate transaction from the sale or other contract on which it may be based, and that banks are not concerned with or bound by such contract, even if any reference is included in the credit. This means that banks only deal with documents and not with goods, services, or performance. The purpose of this principle is to protect the parties involved in a documentary credit transaction from the risks and uncertainties of international trade, such as fraud, breach of contract, force majeure, etc. Some examples of how Article 4 of UCP 600 applies in practice are: if a buyer and a seller agree on a contract that specifies the quantity, quality, and price of the goods, but the credit issued by the buyer's bank contains different or additional terms, the seller can either reject the credit or comply with its terms to receive. The bank is not obliged to follow the contract between the buyer and the seller, unless it expressly agrees to do so. If a seller presents documents that comply with the terms and conditions of the credit, but the buyer claims that the goods are defective or not delivered, the bank must honor or negotiate the credit, unless it receives a court order or an injunction to stop payment. The bank is not responsible for verifying the accuracy or authenticity of the documents, nor for inspecting the goods. If a force majeure event, such as war, civil unrest or natural disaster, prevents the seller from performing the contract or presenting the documents, the bank is not liable for any consequences arising from such event. The bank's obligation is limited to following the instructions of the applicant or the issuing bank, in accordance with the terms and conditions of the credit.
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon, so that you can receive the notifications in future. Share with your friends. Bye.